The air in Malacanang Palace crackled with anticipation as the first light of dawn crept over the historic halls. Every corner of the palace seemed to hum with the weight of what was about to unfold, a moment that would shape the nation's destiny. Today, January 29, 2026, was a day of national assertion. The Philippine flag fluttered proudly in the morning breeze, signaling a new chapter in the country's long struggle for sovereignty and self-determination. Journalists from across the globe packed the press hall, their cameras poised, their notepads ready. The world's eyes were fixed on Manila, eager to witness history in the making. The president, flanked by the foreign secretary and top legal minds, walked to the podium with measured steps. Each official present understood the gravity of the occasion, their faces set with determination. A hush fell over the room. The anticipation was palpable, as if everyone present was holding their breath, waiting for the moment that would define a generation. The signing of the new Philippine Maritime Zones Act was more than a legislative formality. It was a declaration. It was a bold statement to the world that the Philippines would no longer allow its maritime rights to be questioned or ignored. With a steady hand, the president signed the bill into law, the pen gliding across the page with purpose. In that moment, the hopes and aspirations of millions were etched into the nation's legal framework. The flash of cameras illuminated a pivotal moment, capturing not just an official act, but a symbol of national resolve and unity. This act was the culmination of years of work by diplomats, lawyers, and legislators. Countless hours of negotiation, research, and debate had led to this singular achievement. It was a direct response to decades of encroachment in the West Philippine Sea. For years, the nation's waters had been contested, its resources threatened, and its sovereignty challenged. The law formally defines the nation's maritime entitlements, from its territorial sea to its exclusive economic zone and extended continental shelf. For the first time, these boundaries were set down with clarity and precision. It translates international law into concrete geographical coordinates, turning abstract principles into enforceable rights. The act provides a clear map for the nation's future at sea. The Maritime Zones Act closes the gap of ambiguity, providing a single authoritative legal instrument that delineates Philippine maritime jurisdiction. It is a shield against external pressures and a guide for future generations. Allies praised the move as a courageous step for a rules-based order. Beijing condemned it. The world's reaction was swift and divided, underscoring the significance of the act. But in Manila, the mood was one of resolute pride. Across the city, Filipinos celebrated, their hearts swelling with hope and determination for a more secure future. The government had chosen a path of legal and diplomatic fortitude, standing firm in the face of adversity and choosing dialogue over conflict. The Philippines was standing its ground, armed with a new law and an unwavering belief in its rights. With the Maritime Zones Act, the nation sent a clear message. Its sovereignty is not negotiable, and its people will defend what is rightfully theirs. The Philippine Maritime Zones Act is a striking demonstration of cartographic power, where lines on paper become lines of law and sovereignty. Through this act, the government asserts its vision of the nation's maritime domain, turning abstract claims into concrete realities. It establishes official baselines, drawing clear boundaries and creating a new, authoritative map of the Philippines that the world can recognize. These lines are not just technicalities, they are the foundation of national rights and responsibilities at sea. The law translates the 2016 Arbitral Award into national legislation, giving it real domestic force and making international rulings part of everyday governance. This move strengthens the country's legal standing both at home and abroad. It clearly outlines the boundaries of the exclusive economic zone and the extended continental shelf, specifying exactly where the Philippines can exercise exclusive rights over resources, fisheries, and seabed minerals. This map is more than a document. It's a declaration of what belongs to the Filipino people, a visual statement of national identity and pride that can be passed down through generations. Unlike China's ambiguous 9-dash line, the Philippine map is precise, transparent, and firmly grounded in the principles of UNCLOS, the international law of the sea. It empowers authorities to enforce national laws within these zones, transforming what was once a disputed and uncertain area into clear-cut national jurisdiction, where rules can be upheld and resources protected. For the average Filipino, a map makes the stakes tangible and real. It turns distant disputes into something everyone can see, understand, and care about. It fosters a deeper sense of ownership, and a stronger national consensus to protect these waters, uniting communities and inspiring collective action to defend what is rightfully theirs. The act turns the West Philippine Sea from just a headline or a distant issue into a living part of every Filipino's home, heart and future, making the nation's maritime legacy something everyone can claim and cherish. For fishing communities along Zambales, Palawan and Pangasinan, the South China Sea dispute is not just a distant political issue, it is a daily struggle that shapes their lives and futures. Every morning, as the sun rises over the horizon, these hardworking Filipinos set out to sea, hoping to provide for their families despite mounting challenges. For generations, their families have sailed to traditional fishing grounds like Scarborough Shoal, waters that have sustained their communities for centuries. But now, Chinese vessels block their way, patrolling the seas and making it dangerous, even life-threatening, to fish in their own backyard. The new Maritime Zones Act offers hope and legitimacy, providing a solid legal foundation for their claims. It is a powerful statement that the Philippines stands by its people, recognizing their rights and their history. Harassment within the exclusive economic zone is now a violation of Philippine law, giving the government a stronger mandate to protect its people. This legal backing empowers authorities to act decisively against those who threaten Filipino livelihoods. The law affirms that these waters are theirs by right, not just by tradition or memory, but by the rule of law and international recognition. Economic hardship has been severe, catches have dwindled, incomes have plummeted, and families struggle to make ends meet. The threat to their way of life is real and immediate. By securing these zones, the government can better manage and protect resources from illegal foreign fishing, ensuring that Filipino fishermen are prioritized and their livelihoods safeguarded. This not only ensures sustainability for the national economy and food security for millions, but also preserves a vital source of nutrition for Filipino families. Beyond economics, being barred from ancestral grounds is a blow to dignity and heritage. These waters are woven into the fabric of their identity, passed down through generations. The act is a symbol of national resistance, uniting individual struggles into a national cause. It rallies communities together, reminding them that they are not alone in this fight. It declares that every Filipino has the right to earn a living in their own waters, to continue the traditions of their ancestors, and to dream of a better future for their children. The state stands behind its people, committed to defending their rights, their heritage, and their hopes for generations to come. The South China Sea has been a crossroads of commerce and culture for centuries. Early maps, like the 1734 Murillo-Velarde map, depicted the Philippine archipelago and its surrounding waters, labeling areas like Scarborough Shoal as Philippine territory. This map, created nearly 2 centuries before China's 9-dash line, is a sophisticated piece of cartography and crucial evidence in today's disputes. In contrast, China's historical claims rely on vague, inconsistent maps and ancient texts, lacking proof of state administration. The Murillo-Velarde map dismantles China's narrative of historic rights. The Philippines' case is grounded in both modern law and historical evidence. This historical depth gives the Philippines' legal position added legitimacy. China's 9-dash line claims nearly the entire South China Sea, cutting into the exclusive economic zones of its neighbors. Beijing argues for historic rights, but this has no basis in modern international law. The 9-dash line conflicts with UNCLOS, which defines maritime rights, from land territory, not history. China has never clarified what the line actually means, using ambiguity as a strategic tool. The international community overwhelmingly rejects the 9-dash line. The 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruled there was no legal basis for China's historic rights within the line. The tribunal found the line incompatible with UNCLOS. In international law, the 9-dash line is a legal fiction, a political statement, not a legitimate boundary. The world sees it for what it is. In 2013, the Philippines took China to arbitration under UNCLOS, seeking clarification on maritime entitlements. The tribunal's 2016 ruling was a sweeping victory for the Philippines. It declared China's historic rights within the 9-dash line had no legal basis and were incompatible with UNCLOS. The ruling clarified that none of the features claimed by China could generate their own exclusive economic zones. Even if China had sovereignty over them, it couldn't claim the vast surrounding waters. The tribunal condemned China's interference with Philippine rights and its environmental damage, Though China rejected the ruling, it is legally binding. The verdict transformed the dispute into a settled legal matter. The new Maritime Zones Act is the domestic implementation of this international victory. It gives the Philippines a solid legal and moral foundation. The South China Sea dispute is a contest between two maps, one of law, one of ambition. The Philippines map, defined by the Maritime Zones Act and supported by the Murillo-Velarde map, is precise and grounded in UNCLOS. China's 9-dash line is vague, unpublished, and based on unsubstantiated historic rights. The Murillo-Velarde map was key evidence at The Hague, showing Scarborough Shoal as Philippine territory long before current disputes. China's maps are internal, inconsistent, and fail to show state sovereignty over the sea. The arbitral tribunal found no evidence of China's exclusive control, but validated the Philippines' legal arguments. The contest is between verifiable evidence and a state-sponsored myth. The Maritime Zones Act formally adopts the winning map. The Maritime Zones Act is a strategic masterstroke in national defense. By codifying maritime entitlements, the Philippines builds a powerful legal shield. This clarity removes ambiguity and strengthens the mandate of the Navy and Coast Guard. They now enforce Philippine law within defined territory, not just monitor disputes. Any interference by foreign vessels becomes a clear violation. The law strengthens the Philippines' position internationally, signaling commitment to a rules-based order. Allies now have a concrete, legal framework to support. Lawfare is a cost-effective, sustainable defense, more powerful than military might alone. The act frames the conflict as a matter of legal principle, where the Philippines has the upper hand. The pen, writing the law, proves mightier than the sword. The Maritime Zones Act is the centerpiece of a broader diplomatic strategy. By fighting in courtrooms and diplomatic forums, Manila plays the long game, rallying global support for a rules-based order. The law strengthens the Philippines' hand in ASEAN, encouraging unity and collective pressure for a code of conduct. Internationally, it signals reliability and attracts security partners for cooperation and capacity building. This isn't about military alliances, but building consensus against illegal actions. The act anchors a strategy defined by courage, principle, and patience. The Philippines defends its territory and people with the power of law. It shows smaller nations how to stand up to giants, with justice, not force.